Hi, families of Osceola County. This is Miss Crystal from the St. Cloud Library. We're presenting another story today for you, and my story is about the big red juicy apple. Okay? First, it starts off with you guys know about an apple tree. It starts off with little tiny white little blossoms that grow with the sunshine, grow with the rain. They get bigger and bigger as the rain comes down and as the sunshine comes up, and it turns into a big red juicy apple. And they just hang on the tree, just waiting for someone like you or I or one of our lovely animals to come in. And in my story, it starts off with Plump the pig. He comes walking into the apple orchard and he looks around and then looks up, and oh my goodness, oh, his mouth drops down to the ground and he goes, oh my, I want that big red juicy apple. And he grabs on to that red juicy apple and he tugs and he pulls. But that red juicy apple will not let go. And he sits there and just thinks, how am I going to get that apple? And while he thinks, he doesn't hear another animal coming into the apple orchard. It's Gump the goat, and he's looking around, and he looks up. His mouth drops down to the ground, and he sees that big red juicy apple, and he goes, oh, I want that apple. But of course, Plump the pig puts his hands on his hips and goes, you know what? I was here first, but that apple's big enough for both of us. So Gump the goat holds on to Plump the pig. Get him on there. And they pull and they tug and they can't get that apple loose. What are they going to do? So they sit there and they stare at that big red juicy apple, and they don't hear Hump the horse come trotting into the apple orchard. And he looks around and looks up and sees that big red juicy apple, and he goes, oh, I want that apple. And of course, Gump the goat and Plump the pig go, we were here first. But that apple is big enough for all of us. Let's try. So Hump the horse grabs onto Gump the goat, and Gump the goat grabs onto Plump the pig. And they grab onto that big red juicy apple, and they tug and they pull. And it's bending a little bit, but it's not letting go. They sat there and they stared at that apple. It looks so delicious. What are they going to do? And all of a sudden they see Lump the llama come trotting into it. And they're like, ha! But Lump the llama's mouth is on the floor and he goes, oh, I want that red juicy apple. And they go, hey, we were here first. But that apple is big enough. We can all try. So Lump the llama grabs onto Hump the horse, and Hump the horse grabs onto Gump the goat, and Gump the goat grabs onto Plump the pig, and Plump the pig is holding on to that big red juicy apple. And they tug and they pull. But you know what? That apple is not letting go. What are they going to do? And they don't hear it. But there is this little tiny worm crawling into the apple orchard. And he's so quiet. They don't hear him. And his mouth doesn't have far to drop down to the ground. And he goes, oh my goodness, I want that big red juicy apple. But Plump the pig, Gump the goat, Hump the horse, and Lump the llama go, hey, we were here first. And you are not big enough to help. But let's try. So Wump the worm grabs on. There we go. Gotta hold on to him real tight. He grabs on to Lump the llama, Hump the horse, Gump the goat, Plump the pig, and that big red juicy apple. And it bends the tree. It's coming further down. But that apple does not let go. So all of our animals look back at Wump the worm and go, we knew you were too small. So Wump the worm lets go. And as he lets go, that tree springs back and makes the animals fly through the air, where Lump the llama goes flying through the air and he lands over into a field of nice, lush green grass. And Hump the horse, he can't hold on either, and he flies through the air and lands into a big field of nice yellow golden hay. And then there's Gump the goat. Well, goats love hillsides of green grass, and he flies through the air but doesn't land very far away on that hill of lush green grass. And Plump the pig, well, where do pigs like to go? He lands right into a big pile of mud. And as that apple tree lets go of all of the animals, it comes flying back and it hurtles to our little worm. Wump the worm, what's he going to do? He looks up, he looks down, and he starts to dig, 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 dig. Splat! And that apple lands right on top of him. He looks down, he looks up. What's he going to do? He gets this big smile on his face, opens his mouth really wide, and takes a great big bite of that red, juicy apple. What a happy little worm we have today. Boys and girls, moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, this is my story of the big red juicy apple, and thank you for listening to my story today. I've heard this story many, many years ago. Don't remember who told it to me, but I hope you share it with your family and keep repeating the story. Have a great day and be well from the Osceola County Library System. Bye-bye.